Malsch and Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I'm here with our next guest who has some killer new music that we want to talk about, a new single, and oh my God, I love all the story about the whole thing. So let's welcome to the show, SYMETRIA. How are you?
Good. How you doing, man?
Good.
So now I have the most important question right now. Most
Absolutely.
important. Did I pronounce your band name right?
Actually, yes, you did.
Wow. Okay, great. Because that is like my worst fear. Is like that's a bad way to start an interview, you know.
Yep.
And so, if I'm not 100% sure, I'll ask like that just to make sure, or I'll just make fun of myself for fucking it up.
Hey, don't worry, man. It's happened so many times. We've joked around that we got to pull the old Leonard Skinner pronounced SYMETRIA for one of these albums at some point.
Right? Exactly. And nowadays it's so hard to find a band name that band names are misspelled. They're pronounced differently than you would think. So I never assume with any band name
Right.
that I'm pronouncing it properly.
Right.
Because you never know. So you're celebrating 10 years. You have a new EP, an expanding tour schedule, a lot going on. So let's talk about the new single and lyric video, The Game.
All right.
So tell me, because I know you guys have like a story behind that song, and I want our listeners to hear the story about behind that song.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, that was the first one that Matt really helped us finish writing. So that's, pretty important right there, right off the bat, as far as that piece. He's the newest member of the band coming in. And beyond that, lyrically speaking, it's really about what I call like the game of life, right? There's two games going on that most, from my experience, most people don't fully realize all the time. You got, the game of life where you're playing to win in your life and you don't really think about anything before you, anything after you, or anything like that. And if you're playing it to win that way, you're not really doing much other than, kind of serving yourself. And at the end of it all, if everybody's playing that way, well, then the big game that most people miss out on, the eternal game, gets missed out on completely. And eventually it all falls apart,
Yeah. Totally. And that's what I love about the song is that story behind what it really means, because, people listen to songs, they think they know what it means. And sometimes they may be right, or maybe it's their own meaning. But I think we're really in 2026 playing that game of life.
Yeah,
and,
man.
I kind of want to jump off the game board, to be honest.
I hear you.
Like my wife and I were talking, and she's like, what do we do? I'm like, you know what? We just do everything we can to make the world as good a place as possible so that when we come back, we find each other sooner and it's better than it is now.
No doubt. And, I've thought of something recently, like, okay, when you go back before the internet, before social media, I don't know that things are necessarily much worse now. Maybe they are, but they're definitely too much more in your face.
Right.
And so I think some of it shouldn't be so much in our face because, I don't know, it just creates people being a bunch of miserable people because they can't escape all this crap. And there's always been crap as long as there's been politics.
Well, and, it's like, there's an over-under here at some point, right? We get to a point where who asked for some of this stuff we're getting? Like, right? I don't remember asking for computers in my car. I don't remember asking for Bluetooth on my grill. And if they're just going to keep force-feeding technology down our throats at some point, like, well, who's asking for this? Because if nobody's asking for it, what are you doing with it? Why are we being, forced and trapped into situations that we may not necessarily want to be in?
What a great point.
Yeah, if you look back, right, pre-internet, and I'm not anti-internet by any means. I'm anti some things, data centers, AI, surveillance, flock cameras, all that shit. But if you really went back before internet, you stop and think about it, right? If you wanted to see what was going on somewhere else in the world, you went to the library, you got an encyclopedia, somebody had been there, taking pictures, You could go get a National Geographic. You could read about these places that people had been. And then if you decided you wanted to really learn more about it, you went on an adventure for yourself. Now you just sit here and you binge everything on the internet and then go back to your cubicle and punch the clock for 9 to 5. Like, the life we're in is horrible.
I'll even go a step further. It's like people don't even care what's said, if it's true or not. They just grab these headlines and run with it. They don't even read articles.
Yeah.
Like, if you read some of the articles of debate click shit, like the article doesn't even match the headline, but nobody knows because they don't check it out. I also, like, as far as metal goes, like, thank God there wasn't all this shit in the 80s when I was on the Sunset Strip. Okay? Like, I don't want a record of any of that shit,
Right? You and how many hundreds of others.
Right? And the thing is, it's funny because I am a techie and I still agree with what you're saying. Like, one day I was calling my youngest daughter and I'm like, some days I just want to drive down the road and throw my phone, my computer, and my iPad out the window and keep driving. And she goes, Dad, who are you kidding? You're just as addicted to anybody. And I said, yeah, I am, except I come from a time before we had this stuff, and it was much better. It's my stupid generation that built all this shit. Mm-hmm. And we built it because we wanted to make our lives easier. My life is not easier, okay? We all have no time in the day. Everybody's stressed out. Everybody's got anxiety. Everybody has panic attacks. I give all that stuff to the internet and social media, and there's never a shutdown in anything. Like, even me, I run a radio station. I can't tell you how many people text me at like 3 a.m. and then freak out when they don't get a response 5 minutes later. Like, okay, I get it. I'm a radio station, but still. If you couldn't reach your radio station before all this stuff, you waited till the next day.
Yeah. And what was wrong with that? At least when you got somebody on the phone, you were going to get a real person.
Right. I was thinking about it too the other day as I was going to the mailbox, the old school mailbox here at the studio. And I'm like, oh man, I miss the days when we only had this, because like, you're getting bombarded. I wake up in the morning, I already have 300 emails and they're just from falling asleep, and it's like, Jesus Christ. Like when the postman came by with your mail, you didn't have 300 pieces of mail ever, like, so it's like, because we have all this, and then, people think because they have all these tools, they should use them all. Just because the tools are available doesn't mean you have to use them. Nope. And I'm 100% on the side with you at AI and the Ring and all that stuff, because, listen, I remember in the 80s saying the machines are going to take over. Well, here we are.
Yeah, you ain't kidding, man.
Here we are. And not only that, but like my kids all have Rings at their house. No, I don't want a Ring at my house so everything I'm doing is videotaped all the freaking time. And I don't find them to feel safer with that Ring. It's more like they get obsessed with watching who comes to their door all the time. To me, it all creates more fear instead.
Yeah.
We're being sold as security. I don't feel more secure. I also don't feel more secure when Alexa's interrupting my interviews. Okay. Which when I've done them at home instead of in the studio, that'll happen. Like in the middle of an interview, she'll pipe in and like, hey, butt out. And now music, the most important thing. Okay. We need bands like you that are actually musicians, not people just punching a couple things on a computer and making music. Like, that's weird to me. I don't know.
Well, first off, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I think we feel the same way.
Right?
Music's it's got a life of its own, and you got to know how to curate that life within it as you're putting it together. And you don't get that with a keyboard and a synthesizer the way you do with real instruments and real creativity.
Exactly.
Right. And to follow with that, like, I like all types of music and all that, but you can't call like a DJ, for example, you know, they're touching buttons here and there. You can't call them musicians, because what are they doing musically?
Exactly. Like, I don't even get, I mean, I did get it when I had to do press coverage for once. I'm like, okay, I get this, but I don't get the whole idea of a DJ concert. Like,
Yeah, I don't
if
either.
you're at a nightclub, I get it. Okay, that's where there should be a DJ. There should not be a concert for DJs.
Yeah.
It's like weird to me. Like, what kind of concert is that? You're pushing a couple buttons, twisting a couple knobs, moving some faders, scratching some crap, and that doesn't mean you're not talented, but you're not a musician, like you said.
Well, well, if you go one step further, you go over to some of the other countries, they got concerts for holograms, and the whole things are you know, completely CGI generated, and the music is all AI generated. It's just garbage.
And I think people don't realize what you're missing there. You're missing the depth, the passion, the emotion that music gives you. Like, if you listen to some of this AI music, does it sound good? Maybe. But does it invoke emotion? No. And that's what we need. That's what music's the best therapy there is. Like, why would you get rid of the human element of it?
Because everybody wants their chance to create it, and they don't want to put the work in to learn how to play the instrument, to take an actual chance of creating it. And that's really what it comes down to. Everybody's capable of learning how to play an instrument, and then you let it take it as far as you want it to take you.
It is laziness. I'll be blunt about it. Okay. You know, because I do think of it like, I played drums. I sucked. I played guitar. I sucked at that too. I also sang thrash metal, sucked at that too. But there was one common denominator in all three of those things. The idea of playing an instrument sounded great to me. The work I had to put into to become good, maybe not so much when I was young, you know? And I also, to your point, I think in any industry, like, there are no experts nowadays in anything. Like, everybody thinks they're an expert.
Right.
You know, I think there's something to be said about an expert. You know, you're not gonna become Randy Rhoads by pushing buttons. No,
you're not just. Yeah, if you're going to master an instrument, it's like mastering a craft or anything else. You know, to get to the point where you're, you know, playing with it on a subconscious level. You just know what you want to hear, and your fingers go there, kind of stuff. You don't get that same relationship, you know, with your JKL semi-space.
Right. And I think too that everybody that has something to say about music or musicians or creating that AI stuff should still learn how to play an instrument, because then you'll have a lot more respect for that musician of what it really takes. Because it always sounds great when you're playing air guitar, like, oh, I could play that song, you know, until you actually get on the instrument, like, oh, how do I do this? You know?
Yeah, I agree.
It's like, that's what gives me more respect for people like you guys, because I did try and I sucked because I didn't put enough effort into it. Like you said, anybody can learn, but it's how much effort you're going to put. I remember, like, hearing about Randy Rhoads practicing 8 hours a day. I was like, holy shit, I don't want to practice 8 hours a day. Or like, even like, I had a practice pad for years. I played drums for 9 years. The reason I sucked is because I couldn't stand using the practice pad in the beginning. You know, like, you got to do those beginning things. Or like with the guitar, I didn't want to do scales. Just let me play a song. Okay. I don't want to do scales, but you need that foundation to be able to not only play music, but to create it.
Right. And that's the big difference. Like, I've learned over the years, you know, to learn a song is one thing, and like to learn your chords, learn your scales. But when you actually start putting something together and taking what you've learned by picking up bits and pieces of other people's music you've played, and you start creating your own sound with that's where learning all of those other bits and pieces really comes in, because you have to understand how it goes together and the flow.
Exactly. And you know, there's so many artists I'm impressed with because of what they can do. Like, even like artists like you that have been around for 10 years, I'm always so impressed that you can still write new music, because I think it gets harder as you have created a lot of music throughout the years. Like, it's hard to come up with something new. Like, think about your first album. Those songs probably last for years, and then you have to come up with other stuff after that. Like,
right.
It's to me, it's so impressive.
Yeah, well, I think part of it is just the fact that so much of like the lyrical content, especially, tends to revolve around a lot of what's going on in the world at the time the stuff's written, right?
Yeah.
So as long as the guys are able to stay creative in what they're doing musically, my part's a little easier because I get to draw more influence on what's current today versus does this sound like something we did on 2 albums ago kind of deal.
Well, exactly. And it's like, you take certain bands that were like teenage bands that their music still is kind of teenage. It's like, how relative is it if you're still writing teenage music when you're in your 40s, 50s?
Oh, yeah, it's got to evolve.
Exactly.
If you want to stay relevant and current and keep attracting new people and keep people paying attention, you got to be singing about and writing about stuff that's going to do that. Exactly.
And I'll even go a step further with it. And the fact is the one thing I will say positive is, man, it makes me sad that you could take songs written in the 80s by like metal and punk bands, change the names in the songs, and you could still have the same song today. That blows my mind. Like, how are we still writing songs about the nuclear war that's going to blow up the world?
Because the threat's bigger now than it was then, unfortunately.
Exactly. And it's like,
it's crazy.
Fuck. Like, how come we're not over this shit already, And so, yeah, like, so your song, like, to me, it just says it all. The game just says it all, because life is kind of a game too. And, sometimes that game is good, sometimes not so much. And so I love when you write a real song that people can actually relate to.
That's the goal, honestly. I mean, and the goal at the end of it all is to have stuff that everybody can relate to in some way. And if it's not one song, it's another one. And if you're not liking, this particular album, you might like a different one. This EP wasn't your flavor, you'll like something else,
Exactly.
And there's so many people out there looking for something quality to listen to that you just got to put quality material out, I hope.
Exactly. And I think that's something AI doesn't do. Like, right. AI just spits the stuff out like I call it like a puppy mill.
Well, so my overall take on AI, and I've thought about this a lot, because really what AI is doing, it's like a conglomerate of greatest hits. You create an AI system and you turn it loose to learn everything about everything that's ever existed, and that's great. So AI goes out there and it absorbs all the top 100 charts for music that ever existed. It takes all that information and says, all right, based on the 100,000 songs I learned as your AI Claude, this is the best song that I can write, and boom, spits it out to you. But that song's going to dirty the pool because there's nothing new in that song. There's nothing creative in that song. It's a greatest hits song. And everybody's going to think it's great because it's the greatest hits of 100,000. But you dirty that pool half a dozen times, and you're going to notice real quick that the quality's starting to taper off.
What a great point, because I've also noticed with AI that when it like searches the internet, most of what it finds to give its synopsis is old.
Yeah.
Like, I was just looking at something today that the info it was giving me was from like the 80s.
Oh,
like,
wow.
That's not really a relevant
that's not
today.
Relevant.
Right? And here's the problem. People don't proofread or double check this stuff. Like, there's a reason we have the AI for free. It's because then it doesn't cost these major corporations any money to do research and development. We're doing it for them. We're trading in the AI for them.
Yep. Yeah, because from a corporate side, they have to spend money to use it. Like we got the guys in the office at work, they had to go and take classes and get licensed. And now whenever they use it, you have to use like crypto tokens to run the AI algorithms. It costs money to use.
Yeah.
And that's companies aren't realizing that till it's too late. Some of them are already starting to regret the amount of money they're having to spend to get quality products out of the AI service.
Exactly. And if there was a live concert you were doing and all the technology took a shit and was gone, you could still do that concert because you're a musician. Yep. What's that artist going to do that only created music using AI?
Yeah, forget that. What's the guy who's going to do who can't sing without auto-tune?
Well, yeah, well, there you go.
I mean, we could go worse than AI if you want. But,
right. We could go down a whole rabbit hole there.
But you're absolutely right, man. I remember back in the cover days, 20-something years ago, we were playing this little dive bar way up north in Pennsylvania, and we tripped a breaker. So the breaker trips. The only thing left is the drummer and me. Everybody else is gone, and we're playing "Living After Midnight," and the whole bar jumped in.
Nice.
And it still sounded good. I was still singing. We had a backbeat going with the drums, and everybody else just chimed in and sang along.
I love it. I love it.
The mainframe didn't shut down.
And speaking of performances, you just got done. Like, I go on tour and I do festivals all over the U.S., UK, and Europe, and I am a Jersey boy, and I didn't even know about this festival you just did.
Yeah.
The New Jersey Metal Fest 11. How was that? I want to hear about that.
Matt, why don't you take this one?
No, yeah, I thought it went really well. I mean, it was one of our better performances, I'd say, up there with, or at least when I was in it, because the first show I was in with SYMETRIA, we played at Reverb in Reading, and that was like, the guys said, "Oh, that was the best we've done." But at Metal Fest, I thought it was up there as far as like one of our better shows because the crowd was involved, and I mean, yeah, in the heat of the moment, like I'm thinking, oh, I'm playing too fast, but I watch it back and I'm like, oh, I was actually on time. It's crazy what adrenaline will do to you.
Right, exactly. And you guys will be back on the 25th at Reverb.
Yeah,
so
we are. Cool. Yeah, we're back at Reverb at 25th, and that's with Metal Church, Heathen, and All Sinners. They're coming through with their first leg of their Dead to Rights tour, and we picked up the local slot for it.
Nice. I love it. And yeah, playing with Metal Church, that's cool. I remember seeing them in the clubs way back in the 80s. So.
Oh, yeah, we're pretty stoked about that.
Nice. I love it. And so how did you guys get together? How did this happen?
Mm-hmm.
As far as what, Matt coming in or the band as
yes,
a whole?
Yes.
Yes.
So fun. So really, my mom, she's never on Craigslist. Like she's usually just she's usually on Marketplace or something like that. And she happened to be on it one day while I was up at school because I went to Albright College in Reading, and she texts me and she's like, "Matt, there's this band that's pretty local to you that's looking for a drummer," and I'm like, all right, sure, that sounds good. So I reached out. Vince sent me the Where Do We Go Wrong EP. I learned the parts for that. Showed up. There was another guy there who was he auditioned before me, but then I went up and I did my thing, and they and the guy said to me after, he was like, "Yeah, you beat me on that."
I love it.
So here we are.
That's amazing. It almost sounds like, a Metallica story, because that's how James and Lars got together, an ad.
Yeah.
It's so old school. I love it.
And especially Craigslist in today's day and age, right?
I know, right?
Threw it up on Craigslist to see if anything would happen, and so many people spend so much. It's so hard to find players anymore, especially at this level where you still want somebody that lives local that you can get together with a lot and stuff like that. I understand when you get further up the line, you can be further apart and pick and choose who you use and stuff because everybody's doing it full time. But we all have jobs, so we're lucky to get together twice a week to keep working on stuff. And having somebody local is really hard. And we found Matt. I think Kenny told us. I think we found Matt within 3 months of Kenny saying that he was going to be stepping out without a problem.
And we're sure Matt's not a serial killer, right? Because that's a lot that comes off of Craigslist too.
No. It wasn't me on Craigslist. It was my mom. So she's got to get looked into.
Oh well, we have to worry about your mom then. Okay, keep an eye out for her.
But I think, coming up on being officially in the band almost a year.
Yes, September, right? Would be a year.
Yeah, September will be a year. So safe to say, I haven't killed anyone yet or have any ideas.
That we know of. That
we
know.
Well, yeah.
I don't want to see you guys like a made-for-lifetime movie or anything.
No. The only serial killers we keep around is Milk. Don't worry about it.
Right? I love it. That's great. So tell us what else people should know about SYMETRIA.
Well, yeah, so outside of the Metal Church show coming up, a couple weeks after that, we're playing a fairly local show up here at the Schuylkill County Fairgrounds for the Veterans Association for the coal region. They're doing a 2-day festival to raise money and awareness for the veterans. Some national acts are coming in, a bunch of local bands are playing. And then we got Labor Day weekend, we are heading out to Ohio to play the Smoking Coals rally in Bloomville. Nice. That's our first time on something that big. I believe like Lita Ford, Hinder, and a couple others of that scale are headlining that one. 2 weeks after that, we're in Allentown at a local place called the Allentown Arts Gallery. And then November 1st, we're down in Birdsboro with friends of ours for their annual big B&R Fest, they call it. It's a big local metal band concert with a bunch of bands that have been in the Reading area for anywhere from 10 to 30 years, depending on who's there.
I love it. And I love that you're going to be playing with Lita Ford. She's actually come in our studio here because she lives in South Florida.
Oh, cool.
And she is cool as hell. Like, you never know sometimes with people. Right. But that's why I find the icons like her are always the ones that are cool as hell. It's usually the bands that think they're icons and aren't that are not cool as hell. It's like you mentioned Leonard Skinner. I interviewed them 3 times before Rosington died.
Okay.
And those dudes, they're just good old boys. They have no clue that they're Leonard Skinner like they do, but, not by their attitude. They were just laughing the whole interview. Like they're just having a good time. And that's the way it should be, man. It's music. Yep. You can't take yourself too seriously. No, take serious about your craft, but not about who you are.
Yeah, if you're blessed enough to be out there doing it at a professional level, it should be fun.
Oh, you know what? At any level. Yep. If you're not having fun playing music, that's the wrong career because most of it sucks. It's the music part that's supposed to be fun. If you're not having fun with that, like, where are you going?
It's like when you played football when you were a kid, right? You practice 3 nights a week, beating the hell out of yourself so you could play a game on Sunday.
Exactly.
So with Metal Fest, we were there. We loaded in at 12:30. Our set was at 6:15. That's just the way it goes sometimes.
No doubt. And the stress that goes along with it too. And and we can tell if you're not having fun too.
Oh yeah.
The listeners can tell, and if you're just dialing it in, man, why are you in this industry? That's what I think, I remember I was serious about getting in the industry, but it was wrong time of life for metal because they were converting all these bands I knew into hair metal bands. I was watching the record labels backstage saying, okay, you're going to play your music like this now. You're going to dress like this. And I'm like, I'm out. Fuck this. Like,
hell yeah, dude.
Why be in music if you're not doing what you absolutely love and have passion for and just doing it as a job?
Well, that's why we're still here. I mean, I'd be lying to you if I told you I didn't turn down the 360 deals and the bullshit deals and stuff like that. I was blessed to have the right people around me. and I knew who to ask questions, and it was like, yeah, no, man, you don't want to mess with none of that stuff.
See, that's key too. I think a lot of people don't realize that because, like, yeah, going back to the 80s, the record labels were the ones giving the artists all the drugs and alcohol and women and debauchery because while you were like out of your mind, they were taking all your money.
Yep.
You know?
And then when it was all done, they told you how much you owed them for going on tour.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh my God. Like, I definitely, you're flashing me back to a lot of stories of friends of mine and what they went through. And, you know, like, it's funny because you take somebody like Metallica, and that's where they were kind of smart because they got past that part. They left LA to get away from that, you know, and it is pretty funny, though, because I am originally a Jersey boy, but my dad, 1980, comes up to me. I was 12, and he's like, pack your bags. We're moving to California in 3 days. And so, like, I thought it sucked when he said that. Now looking back, well, that was great. What a perfect time to end up at the Sunset Strip.
Shit.
And that whole area. And then I went back to Jersey for college, and I kind of laughed because, like, so I was at Metallica's first show ever. And then when they left LA, me and my bro used to hitchhike up to the Bay Area, you know, to catch them up there. And so then I go back to Jersey, and where am I in Jersey? I'm in Old Bridge is where I'm living, the Old Bridge militia. And I my friends there all loved to say that Metallica was from New Jersey, and I used to say to them, yeah, after they were from the Bay Area, after they were from LA.
Right.
Like it's so funny. If you go to those three places, they all claim that that's where Metallica originated.
Well, yeah, and the irony in all that is, right, I was fortunate enough to talk to Chris, the head of the Old Bridge Militia, before he passed a few years back. And I was sitting in the bar one night. We're watching the classic car auction, and we're talking about that era and Johnny Z and what he did bringing Metallica out and everything. And he's like, dude, the thing people don't realize is Metallica was only here for like 6 to 9 months.
Right.
And then they were gone. He's like,
exactly.
They dominated Jersey for 6-7 months, and then boom, they were gone.
Which is amazing because the one that you think you would lay claim to would be Anthrax, since they're actually from New York.
Yeah.
And but it was like a very interesting scenario, the whole Old Bridge militia thing. And like, who would have thought? And Hunka Bunkas and English Town. Like I would have never thought of like, ooh, English Town is the place for metal.
But that's funny that you were there. So that's where SYMETRIA actually started. I was in Hillsborough, New Jersey back 10 years ago when we started the band. And the first couple places we played were Dingbats up in Clifton, Brighton Bar down in Long Branch.
I lived in Ocean Township, right?
Not the Stone.
Branch.
What was the little one in Asbury Park? It was the Stone Pony.
Well, you got
the other
Stone
one.
Pony, but there is another one. I can't remember the name.
It was like the Cellar or something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember.
The Saint.
Quick.
The Saint was down there.
Saint. TT Quick used to play there all the time.
Yeah. Yep. You got it. So we actually, the first CD was supported by the Old Bridge Militia. One of the guys from down there picked it up. He sent it out to a DJ that's on the air at a college station in Lincoln, Nebraska. It's been on SOU, yeah. We actually interviewed up at SOU back in 2018. So,
nice.
And then, so they were really supportive of us early on. So it's pretty cool that you were tied up with them too there.
Yeah, it is kind of wild. Like, I think about in the different scenes I was in, and like it's so wild. It's almost like then was a cultish time.
Yeah,
much less and much more so than now. Now, like, listen, we didn't listen to any metal if it was played on the radio, besides something like SOU. Right, SOU was okay. You know, but if it was played on like PLJ or some shit like that, nope, I'm out. And now you got like bands like Lorna Shore that are like rising in the pop charts. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, It's wild.
It's definitely an interesting time.
Right? You know, they say metal's dead. I don't know. I go to these festivals where there's over 100,000 people. I don't think it's dead at all.
I think that's what they want you to believe. I think we've seen a lot of stuff, coming back. I mean, I even saw a post the other day. Timmy McMurtry and Billy Milano from MOD finally buried the hatchet, and they're, stopping their feud and talking about like doing stuff together and things.
Wow.
Like you're talking a lot of. I've seen so many of the older heads getting active again and working problems out with each other and just doing the right thing for the music finally.
And you're older, so you're not as much of an asshole as when you're younger.
Yeah. Sooner or later, you got to calm down, right?
Exactly. But I do know that, like, I was really bummed out. Last year, one of the festivals I do was going to have SOD, but it was tribute to SOD, but it was Scott Ian. It was Jamie Josta was going to sing.
Okay.
And then it was Scott's son playing drums, which he's really, really good. And who was it on guitar? Was it Demo? I can't remember who it was on guitar. And it was like, I was so excited, and then it got squashed because Billy Milano was like, nope, you guys.
Yeah.
He didn't. I guess he didn't squash with Scott Ian. Yeah.
Maybe he's making the rounds. He'll knock on Scotty's door next.
I know, right? Because he did say some shit last year, and then all of a sudden it just didn't happen. But
yeah,
I'll tell you what, though, it was funny. I was covering Grass Papa a few years ago, and so Mr. Bungle played.
Okay.
And so they do a cover of Speak English or Die, but they don't say English. Okay, so like in the States, I saw them play, and they were like Speak Spanish or Die. And then there, they called it Speak Flemish or Die, because that little part of Belgium where that festival is, that's their language.
Okay.
You know, there's like 3 languages in Belgium, but that one is just for that. Like, imagine if you had your own language for Reading.
Right.
That's what it was like.
Well, you kind of do. Let's not be wrong.
Well, that's true. That's true. It's like I can pick what part of Jersey, what town somebody is from in Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
You know, by listening to them. And of course, every borough of New York, you can tell the difference. You know, people down here in Florida, they think we all sound the same, but it's the same thing as anything. Like, yeah, I could tell in that whole tri-state area, oh, you're from here, and how'd you know? They obviously know how you know because you're from that area.
Right.
So how do people reach out to you guys? Check out the new music, check out the lyric video, and everything else.
Yeah, so basically you could pop in the band name just as it's spelled, SYMETRIA, SYMETRIA, into wherever you search your music, and we'll come up. We're on Apple Music, we're on Spotify, we stream on Tidal, we stream on Deezer, YouTube Music. We have a YouTube channel that has various concert videos, live footage, as well as the lyric video for the game is up there. You could check it out there. Our Facebook page you could find on Facebook, SYMETRIA Band, and you can follow us there. And we're in the process of getting a website launched because after 10 years, I guess it's time.
It might be time. It might be time. Just in time for people to not use websites.
Yeah, that's about where we're going. But actually, it'll be nice to be able to get merch out to people on a broader scale. So that'll be one of the biggest tools for it. And it gives me a spot to park the EPK. And with hoping to grow and continue on at least the festivals and get on out tour once or twice here in the next coming years, having that EPK online will be a big deal help.
Nice. And so if a video game was going to use your song in the game, which video game would you want it to be?
That's a question for Matt, because I haven't played video games probably in 30 years.
So you're saying the song, the game, what game would it be part of?
What game would you want it to be part of? Yeah.
I'm gonna say Doom. Any of the Doom games.
All right.
Nice.
Because that has like a very like Metallica kind of feel, like like that, just sort of upbeat stuff. But I don't know. To me, the game, it gives sort of like a drive. Like, hey, we got to start a revolution. Let's fuck shit up, you know?
Hell
There
yeah,
you
man.
go. And see, like I asked that question because, like, with a name like the game, it should be part of a video game. Just saying.
Hey, look, our bank account's more than willing to receive checks and sign these documents.
Right? Exactly. So what do you think Matt has brought to the table?
Honestly, here's an idea, right? Here's the best way to describe what Matt's brought to the table. The last practice before the show, we were jamming after we ran the set. And, we're, other than Matt, we're all in our 40s and 50s. So we're a bunch of old heads. So Mike starts playing Am I Evil? Brian jumps in. Kevin's going along. And Matt never came in. And I looked at Mike and I went, oh, my God, we got a drummer young enough that he doesn't know that song.
He doesn't know the song. You might have to have Lars play it.
But, at the same time, he's brought so much stuff just in screwing around at practice that we've never imagined being able to add to our music already, that I can't wait to see what writing continues to bring with him. He's got a different ear. He's got a different mindset, of course. And at the same time, he's as big an Alice Cooper fan as I am.
Nice.
So it's a really cool element to have somebody with his younger musical taste and experience and different feel for things to come in and still be as connected to, at least I am, with some of the older music and stuff that, I grew up listening to my father's records of Alice Cooper, $1 Billion Babies, Welcome to My Nightmare and stuff. So it's awesome.
Yeah. And see, I think that, in my opinion, that's also what Matt brings to the table. It is 2026. So I think you kind of need both the older view and the younger view to be relevant.
Absolutely. And I think it adds a lot. It says a lot about us as musicians and our ability to stay current. I mean,
yeah,
and there was no hesitation. Like I've played with guys that would have been like, how old is he? Oh, he's too young. I don't even think we asked him how old he was till the second or third practice. He came in, had the chops, and started jamming, man. It's music. That's what it's about.
That's key. It's like Ty, Robert's son, playing with Suicidal now. He's so young, but man, he just makes sense.
Yeah.
And brings that younger feel to it. And Mike still has like the energy of a youth. And, so you need to have somebody young to keep up with him.
Yeah. And if you're going to try to be a current band, like, you don't go out and find another 55-year-old drummer to sit in behind the kit if you want to keep going for another 20 years, not when you've got somebody that's young, powerful, and enthusiastic and wants to come and play.
I got to tell you, too, to your point, I'm 59, and I couldn't imagine touring playing drums.
Right.
Like, I think any other, like guitar, singing, whatever's got to be easier at this age. But, yes, if you're playing some, like, Beatles music, maybe, but but not playing metal. Like, I'm in amazement at some of the drummers that they can, even keep up without dying, because I don't think people realize how much brutal work it is to be a metal drummer. You have to be in good shape.
Man.
Yeah. You have to be in good shape.
Well, I'm not in great shape, but I'm working on that.
You're in great shape for drumming.
Yeah. No, yeah. Two different things, yeah.
We'll keep you busy. We'll sweat you into shape.
Yeah, it was after, I don't know, it was like my second or third show, and it was at like this little dive bar or something, and after the show, like I had like a gray shirt on, and it was just black, like with sweat afterwards, and Brian, his wife was like, Matt, get a different shirt. It's cold outside. You're gonna get sick. Like, so I just got one from the merch table, and all.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love it. Because you brought me back to a Slayer show I was at Lemore's in the middle of winter. I was sweating from head to toe and walked outside. I didn't feel it for like 15 minutes, but it was, I don't know, it was like 0 out or something like that. And I was like, dripping wet. And
yeah, I was very grateful for the drive back because
Oh yeah.
Even with the heat, it was still like, oh yeah, I can feel every inch of my skin.
right.
And then once it's clammy, forget it. Now you're just cold.
Yeah,
Exactly. Like I don't. That's another thing too. Being a drummer in the different weather, like even the fact of playing here in South Florida as a drummer, Jesus Christ, with it being feels like 109. How are you drumming? And that humidity. I'm like, oh my God. Like there's some bands I've interviewed down here or at like Rockville, and I'm like, how do you even dress like that on stage, man? Like I moved down here and I'm permanently, I have two types of shorts, my summer shorts and my winter shorts. The winter shorts are a little longer and a little thicker. Okay. That's the extent of my winter down here. So I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine performing anything on stage down here. I have a hard enough time doing press with that weather. It's like, but getting up on stage and giving all you got. See, these are things I like to point out to listeners that they realize that there's a lot that you guys put into a live show. Mm-hmm. You're not just having fun. Are you having fun? Yes, you're having fun. But there's a lot of effort and sacrifice and work that goes into that. And I think everybody needs to know that it's not like, oh, look at them, they got lucky, and they got a dream job. Yeah, I'd like to see most of those people say that, do what you guys do, to be honest.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, it does like mad respect, and even the fact of doing festivals. Okay. So you guys know about like festival flu, and I get it all the time. You're breathing in that dust. I always wonder how artists are up there playing, especially singers, and singing while that dust is going in your throat. Because I get that while I'm doing interviews, and like I lose my voice first day,
right.
of doing interviews, and I can't breathe, and my nose is stuffed up. I'm like, man, mad respect for singers going out in this environment. And you got the mosh pit right in front of you, so the dust is going right in your mouth.
Well, I haven't gotten to experience that yet, but I'll have to be on the lookout for it.
Oh, there you go. We'll have to get you on some of the DWP festivals. See, do that.
Yeah, that's what I've been. That's one of my goals right now, because I go to the Sonic Temple every year, and I said, you know what, we got to like, that's a goal. Like, play any of the stages there.
Yeah.
Yep. I do Sonic every year. A couple weeks I'll be at Incarceration. That one's that's a cool festival, because that's at the Shawshank Prison.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's badass. Like, my daughter will always go. She's like, so you excited about this festival? I'm like, well, I love doing it. I don't know if excited's the right word when you're doing it every weekend. But then the first time I did that festival, I called her up. I'm like, now I'm excited. I'm calling you from the prison yard of Shawshank. And
that is cool.
Right. And then I'm like, I'm taking pictures like before the festival starts, like in the morning. There's this other band member taking pictures. And he's like, hey, can you take my picture and I'll take yours? He goes, look at us. We're fanboying out on Shawshank Prison. So, yeah, let's get you to those festivals.
It sounds good to me, man. I'd love it.
There you go. Well, anything else you want to add that the listeners need to know that we haven't covered already?
No, I think we about covered it, man. Hopefully they, like I said, look us up wherever you look for music and give us a follow, check it out, and hopefully we'll see you live.
Absolutely. Well, you guys keep rocking, and Matt, you keep those old dudes in line.
I'll do my best.
And
he is the timekeeper.
There it is. And so you better make sure you're on time.
Yes. Because I said, hey, I need a click, and then Vince was like, no, you don't. You're good.
That's great.
We were instantly tighter when he came in, so he is our click.
I love it. Well, that's amazing. Your music's amazing.
Thank you.
Thanks for still making music, and thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipe Man.
Hey, as long as
Thank
there's
you.
people there to listen, we'll make it. So thank you very much for having us, man.
You got it.
Take it easy.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.